Hey everyone, welcome to Mystery Amuse. Today we're going to talk about the most wanted scammer that nobody can find, Emmanuel Mood. This person is an international con artist who has been evading law enforcement for years. So join us as we investigate what makes this individual so difficult to track down and why they have been so successful in their criminal activities. Stick around to find out the answers. But before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel to never miss an update on more such interesting content like this. Let's begin. Who is Emmanuel Mood? Emmanuel Mood is a notorious Nigerian scammer who pulled off one of the most elaborate and successful scams of all time. In 1995, Mood convinced a Brazilian bank to pay him $242 million for a fake airport. By posing as a high-ranking Nigerian government official, Mood was able to dupe the bank into believing that he had access to an airport building project that would make them millions. The scam went undetected for 3 years until the bank noticed discrepancies in the paperwork and launched an investigation. Mood was eventually arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison for fraud. He was released in 2004 and currently lives in Nigeria. Mood's story has become a cautionary tale for banks, businesses, and individuals who are looking to invest in Nigeria. His story is also a reminder that even the most experienced and savvy people can be taken in by a well-crafted scam. How did Emmanuel Mood manage to fraud people? Mood's fraud was based on a few key elements. Firstly, he had a network of collaborators and people in his pocket who were willing to help him in his schemes. In addition, he was able to create a false identity as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Paul Ogwuma. He posed as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and sent forged documents of approval from the central bank for the construction of the airport in Abuja. This allowed him to gain the trust of his victims. He was also able to manipulate the banking system and create a complex web of transactions and offshore accounts to cover his tracks. As a result, he was able to keep his fraudulent activities undetected for the longest time. Mood had pulled off a scam using a combination of impersonation, false promises, and forged documents. This convinced Sakaguchi to make the large transfers that Mood had requested. Mood also employed a team of lawyers, accountants, and a real estate agent to keep the fraud hidden. In 2005, Mood was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 5 years in prison for his fraud. He was also ordered to repay the $242 million that he had defrauded from Sakaguchi. What happened to Emmanuel Mood? Emmanuel Mood was a Nigerian businessman and former bank director who was convicted of defrauding a Brazilian banker out of $242 million in a bank fraud scheme. In 2003, he was arrested in Lagos, Nigeria, as part of a joint effort between the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of Nigeria and the Federal Bureau of Investigation in the United States. Mood and his partner, Nzaribe Okoli, were accused of defrauding the Brazilian banker, Nelson Sakaguchi, by pretending to be a government official and offering to sell him a stake in a Nigerian airport. In reality, there was no airport and no stake to be sold, leading Sakaguchi to lose $242 million. Mood and Okoli were convicted in a Nigerian court in 2005. They both pleaded guilty after testimony from Sakaguchi in hopes of a more lenient sentence and were sentenced to 29 years in prison collectively, with Mood receiving 5 concurrent sentences of 5 years, totaling 25, and Okoli receiving 4. Mood's story remains one of the most infamous cases of fraud in Nigerian history. Where is Emmanuel Mood now? Today, Emmanuel Mood is serving his sentence in a Nigerian prison. It is reported that Mood has settled into prison life and is currently serving as a mentor and tutor to some of the younger inmates. He has also taken to writing, penning a memoir of his life and experiences in prison. It's unclear when he will be released, but it's likely to be many years from now. During his incarceration, Mood has been a model prisoner and has been involved in several volunteer programs. He is also said to have become a born-again Christian and has been reaching out to other inmates about the importance of having a spiritual life. Emmanuel Mood is an example of how crime does not pay and that justice will always prevail. No wonder Emmanuel Wood's journey as a con artist has been quite an underrated story of all times. Although he got caught in the end, for which at moment he is serving his sentence behind bars, once he conned with his con strategy for consecutive 3 years without having been caught. Truly, Emmanuel Wood is a master of deception and a master of disguise, as his fate remains a mystery to all of us. This video is not only a story of how he fooled people with their money, but also a message to people to stay alert and wise. Let us know your thoughts on today's video in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.